Here's your wrestling news for April 1st, 2023, and we're kicking off this WrestleMania Saturday edition of Slat Rock Wrestling with SmackDown, as the show saw Bobby Lashley become the latest winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Of course, this wasn't the match WWE initially had planned for Lashley, as he was supposed to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, but Bray's illness may have proven to be a blessing in disguise. The Battle Royal was fun, and a sign that LA Knight is truly over with the fans, and had Lashley faced Wyatt instead, a predictable loss to the former Universal Champion would have killed the Almighty's momentum. In a backstage segment after his win, Lashley teased he will face somebody this weekend, and who do you hope to see step into the ring with the Almighty if he competes at WrestleMania? Now, WrestleMania is often a night of huge returns, with the Hardy Boys, Cody Rhodes, and Stone Cold Steve Austin all returning to the ring at the Showcase of the Immortals. Given that WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, it's no wonder why big returns take place, but could another return be happening tonight? Ahead of WrestleMania, former WWE superstar Matt Cardona has been spotted in Los Angeles, and the former Zack Ryder has teased returning to the company in the past. With that said, it's just as likely that Cardona is simply there to support his wife Chelsea Green, who will be teaming with Sonya Deville in the Women's Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Since his release from WWE in 2020, Cardona has been a force to be reckoned with Reigns as Impact's Digital Media Champion, GCW World Champion, and the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Do you think Cardona could return to WWE? And, more importantly, do you want to see him back if this is a planned WrestleMania surprise? Sound off in the comments. It's been over 10 months since Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE, and since then, both women have confirmed that they have left the promotion. Last month, Naomi replied to a fan on Instagram that she was no longer working with WWE, and we may know where her wrestling career will go next. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reports that Naomi, who trademarked the name Trinity Star recently, was backstage at last night's Ring of Honor event. As he explained, Fightful Select can confirm that Trinity Fatu is backstage at ROH SuperCard of Honor. Trinity is officially done with WWE and was in town for WrestleCon and Wale Mania. WWE sources have been hopeful that they would get her back as of a couple of months ago. The report added that Trinity took in the Athena vs. Yuka Sakazaki match up close, and that there were also some AEW names who weren't on the card spotted backstage. Time will tell whether the former Naomi ends up in ROH, but her time at SuperCard of Honor may be a huge indication as to where her future lies. More from SmackDown as Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes closed the show in what was, unfortunately, a disappointing interaction. Reigns said very little in the interaction, as after Cody cut his promo, the Tribal Chief simply told his WrestleMania opponent to acknowledge him and held the WWE title in front of him. We're not against a wrestler being a superstar of few words, as in the past we've seen that less is often more, but what Reigns had to say this week simply didn't live up to expectations. Today is day 944 of Reigns' tenure as champion, and if this was indeed his final SmackDown as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, it's a shame it ended on something of a dud. But what do you think of the segment? Did it fall flat for you, and who do you expect to leave WrestleMania as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion? SmackDown also saw Raquel Rodriguez, Sonya Deville, Natalya, and Shayna Baszler go at it in a precursor to the Women's Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag match we'll see at WrestleMania 39. Unfortunately, the match failed to excite the crowd, and while Raquel was given the chance to show her strength, that was the only noteworthy part of the bout. WWE also made no effort to build up the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. And what do you make to WWE not bringing up the match rumored to be closing out tonight's WrestleMania? When Logan Paul first debuted for WWE in 2021, many were dismissive of the YouTuber, who to many fans was best known for his controversy in Japan from a few years ago. Since then, though, the Maverick has worked hard in the ring and has won over even the most cynical of fans, but has he earned the respect of the WWE locker room? In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Paul was asked that question, and while he thinks he has their respect, the young star said he will not be playing games to show he belongs. He said, "Yeah, I would say yeah, and if they don't respect me, they're definitely not saying it to my face. I'm not a professional in that regard. Like, if you got a problem with me and you want to say something, I'm gonna f you up. I don't give a f. Like, respect me as a man or get out of my face." If I get tested backstage, it was like, hey, this is our sport, young man, like, get the out of my face, I'm not playing these games, I just won't, but I think I've put in the work to earn respect. Today is Paul's 28th birthday, and he hopes to celebrate by defeating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 39 in a match which will prove why fans and the wrestlers should respect what he can do. One name who fans have plenty of respect for is Randy Orton, who has been out of action since May of last year with a career-threatening back injury. It has been speculated in recent weeks that Orton's return to the ring is imminent, and the Viper has been popping up on social media, but don't expect his comeback just yet. As Dave Meltzer explained on Twitter, fans should not expect any matches from Orton anytime soon, as he is a ways away from recovering from his back issues. While Orton could appear on TV, taking bumps and having a match are still a long way for the Viper, as his focus right now should be getting healed and nothing more. Tonight, WWE will host their 39th WrestleMania, and it will be the first showcase of the Immortals without Vince McMahon having the final say in creative. That's at least what WWE has claimed ever since McMahon returned to the company in January, though many are skeptical of WWE's claim that Vince is only back to oversee a potential sale. We've previously reported that McMahon will be present at tonight's WrestleMania 39, and he won't be merely attending the show as a fan of the product. In an update, PW Insider reported that McMahon will not only be backstage, but he will have his own office behind the scenes in order for him to conduct business. McMahon's position with WWE changed dramatically this week, as according to a new SEC filing, Vince McMahon is now officially a WWE employee again, and has been given a stock award valued at $4.7 million as part of his return. The deal stipulates that he will serve as executive chairman for a term of 2 years from his start date of January 9, 2023, unless he chooses to vacate the position early. When it comes to finding a new owner, McMahon has always said that he will step down again if it's in WWE's best interests, but many have doubted if the boss is being genuine. Given that he is now an official employee of WWE again, it certainly appears that McMahon is back for the long haul, and he will certainly have a presence backstage at WrestleMania 39. When Triple H took over as head of creative, many fans expected big pushes for some of his old favorites during his days running NXT, and that list included Shinsuke Nakamura. Instead, the two-time former NXT champion was nowhere to be seen in quite some time, leading to questions about his status with WWE and his future with the company. The Wrestling Observer newsletter briefly touched on Nakamura during the latest issue and said that the King of Strong Style is on hold until after WrestleMania. We should stress that there is no indication that Nakamura is injured, and at one time, it was rumored that WWE were considering releasing Nakamura, with some in the company feeling he simply goes through the motions whenever he's on TV. If WWE has plans for Nakamura, it makes sense to hold off until after WrestleMania, rather than have plans for him start and then be abruptly paused in order to make room for the showcase of the Immortals. Nakamura is popular with fans, but that popularity doesn't mean much when WWE opt not to use him. And what plans do you want to see for the Japanese star after WrestleMania 39? More WrestleMania news now, as we are mere hours away from night one, but there are big questions as to what match will close out tonight's show. It has been confirmed that John Cena vs. Austin Theory will open tonight's match, but whatever match will main event is being kept top secret backstage. Sean Ross Sapp reports that despite the rumors of a women's main event, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley have not been contacted about the main event, which should have happened by now. The report adds that it is believed that the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens have been made aware that they could prepare for that spot, with one WWE source claiming that that had been the case for the last couple of weeks. With that said, the report also states that there has been some thoughts to Ripley and Flair main eventing, especially since 0 women's matches main evented WrestleMania 38 last year in Dallas. Countless wrestlers dream of headlining WrestleMania, but very few get to see that dream become a reality, and time will tell who gets the coveted last match tonight. During WrestleMania 39, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green will team for the Women's Showcase Tag Match, which isn't the team the company originally had in mind. In a previous report, it was stated that the original plan had been for Green and Carmella to team together, and this change of plan has led to an unfortunate botch at WrestleMania. On Twitter, Deville reacted to 2 WrestleMania banners showing Green and Carmella, and while these two won't be teaming together, somebody clearly didn't tell the person in charge of the promotional graphics. More from SuperCard of Honor now, as Dante Martin was part of the Reach for the Sky ladder match to crown new ROH World Tag Team Champions and suffered a brutal injury in the bout. At one point during the match, Martin got hit by a destroyer by Penta from the ladder onto the stacked tables, but his ankle twisted as soon as it made contact with the floor. The young wrestler was seen grabbing his ankle as soon as he landed on the ground, and the referee immediately put up the X sign for medical staff to come to Dante's aid. At this time, we don't know the specifics of Dante's injury, but we're hoping for a speedy recovery for the young superstar. Later today, WWE will host its NXT Stand and Deliver event, but recently, the Gold brand announced the interesting day of their next major show, NXT Battleground. That event will take place on May 28th, the very same day as AEW Double or Nothing, and many are suspicious at WWE choosing this date. Many believe that WWE deliberately picked this day to try and take viewers from Double or Nothing, but according to Shawn Michaels, that's not the reason at all. When asked about booking Battleground on the same day as Double or Nothing, the head of NXT explained the apparent real reason why Labor Day weekend was chosen. He said, No, look, I'll say this from a holiday standpoint, that's the thing. In the past, we've done well on the holidays, so it's my understanding that's why we did that. It's not different than we used to do stuff back in the day on Christmas and on Thanksgiving. Holidays are always big days. That's what this is for us. I'll say this, we're live on Peacock, basically sort of free. So from my standpoint, it's just the date that was available. The holiday does really well for us. NXT Battleground won't be the only competition, as a day before Double or Nothing, WWE will host its King of the Ring event in Riyadh. But as far as HBK is concerned, all of these selected dates were mere coincidence. More from SmackDown, as Rey Mysterio was backstage this week to express his gratitude towards Legado del Fantasma, who have vowed to have his back at WrestleMania. Given that the group will defend Rey if the Judgment Day try to interfere in his match with Dominic, Rey was incredibly grateful and gifted all 4 members with Latino World Order t-shirts. It was a great moment and a possible tease of bigger things to come for Legado del Fantasma, and this alliance has been a highlight of SmackDown in recent weeks. SmackDown opened with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going face-to-face with their WrestleMania opponents, the Usos, in a perfect way to build up to tonight's match. The intense back and forth between the two teams was palpable and served as another sign as to why this match, and not Ripley vs. Flair, should be the Night 1 main event. Overall, the segment did well to build up the hype, and it truly felt personal, and we can't wait to see how it plays out at WrestleMania 39. And we're ending today with the Hall of Fame, and last night WWE inducted their latest class with Rey Mysterio, The Great Muta, Andy Kaufman, Stacy Keibler, and Tim White receiving the honor. For a while, fans assumed that Dave Batista, who withdrew from the 2020 class due to COVID, would be headlining this year's ceremony, so why isn't the Animal a Hall of Famer? During an interview with Wrestling News, Batista's good friend Titus O'Neil confirmed that Batista is outside of the US right now and is filming My Spy 2 in Cape Town, South Africa. As a multi-time world champion and WrestleMania headliner, Batista is certainly deserving of an induction, and hopefully that'll come ahead of WrestleMania 40 in 2024.